So welcome to Fax TV. This is post Dewsbury, pre North Wales Crusaders. Firstly, though, thank you very much to Mr. Emmett and Simon for covering me while I've been off. I'm sure they've done a cracking job when I've been away. It seems Karl is still cold, so we'll make sure we'll give some nice heated questions for him to go with. Dewsbury game, it ended up another high scorer in total. What was it about that game? Was it again the weather? I mean, Dewsbury they're a big unit at the end of the day, and they seem to enjoy our pitch a little bit more than maybe expected.
Yeah, tough game. We weren't great. We scored some nice tries. But again, as the week before, I thought we were a little bit timid, a little bit soft defensively, particularly on goal line. That's something, again, we've readdressed this week. And hopefully we will get better for the bigger games to come.
You've mentioned in previous Fax TVs about decision making. It seemed like some players were trying to get more involved with the plays, like Fieldy, but yet there was still some poor decisions where the ball was going. I think it was halfway through this first half, Fieldy came into the line on the left hand side, but the ball ended up travelling out. Was that a fault from Fieldy, or was it a case of it was just a poor decision making part of the whole game setup?
We try and create deception. So what a lot of fans don't realise is we actually have decoy runners at the opposite side of the field. I actually thought Ryan Fieldhouse had a great game at the weekend. He was one of our better performers, and he had a tough week personally the week before, and it was good to have him back, and it certainly asked some questions of the Dewsbury defence.
So regarding that then, because Popsy had a pretty good game the week before, and you've obviously kept Popsy in the game, you've moved him over to the wing. Was that a conscious decision because is there something wrong with Peter Fox, or was it a case of that we were playing Dewsbury and you didn't want to drop him?
Well, Gareth's been playing well. Fieldy is the best fullback at the club we've got on our books, and he deserved to play. He'd been ill and he had a few family issues which we won't talk about, and that's why he wasn't playing. Peter Fox his stats were real low in the previous game, and Gareth didn't deserve to be left out, so Peter made way for Gareth, and again I thought Gareth did very, very well.
Just talking about that though, we've had a couple of weeks now where we've had dedicated centres. Danny Cowley seems to have a much better game. He seems to be getting comfortable. I mean, how has his injuries? Are we now saying they're behind him?
He's got a couple of sore ankles as Danny, and it's sort of patching him up to get through at the end of the season. I actually thought he was a little bit off at the weekend, certainly defensively, made a few poor defensive reads, which hurt the people at the side of him. You know, people like Robinson and Johnston were put in a lot of trouble because of Danny. But we addressed that with Danny, and he fully understands what we're trying to achieve. But not everybody's going to play well every week, and players make mistakes under pressure. And Dewsbury put us under pressure to make him make the mistakes. You know, Carl Price, he's a handful out there for Colin to handle, and he did well overall, but we need to improve. Ben
Johnson seems to be in quicker week in, week out. There was some very quick zipping through the defenders and didn't even know he passed them. That must please you, surely. Well,
Jono's an exciting player. He's not the most intelligent half-back in the world, but he's an individual player, and sometimes that works out better for us. You know, Scott Morell and Simon Brown are sort of the architects of the team, brain-wise, and Jono's left a little bit to his own devices, and we're trying to evolve his game and make him create a pass rather than just be that ring option, because people will weigh him up eventually, and he needs to improve for his game to progress and for his career to progress.
Speaking of the halfback, so how's Simon's hand coming on?
Good. He's trained this week as Simon. He's trained fully, did a full contact session on Tuesday evening, and he's in contention for this week. Whether we play him or not, I don't know. This is a huge game, and I keep saying before, you know, the guys who've played have played okay, and we've won all the games we've played since Simon's been out of the team, so it'd be hard for him to get back in, but that's the beauty of being a coach. We've got a quality person like Simon on the sidelines.
Because it's very difficult. Simon had that quite a big patch Noggin in the team. Then we had the three pivots, which was working very well, and then obviously got injured. And now we're getting so close towards the end. That must make an incredibly hard decision for you, the coaching team.
It is. all the players we've got to this organisation, this club, want to play, and it's really hard for a coach to pick the 17 players. You know you're going to upset somebody. The worst part of the coach's job is announcing the 17 because you know you can't please everybody, and it's real difficult because sometimes you've got to leave somebody out who probably doesn't deserve to be left out, and it's a tough one. But that's why we're coaches. We've always think of the team first, and not just this week, the week after, and the week after that, and we're always planning and thinking.
On a side note, though, as a prop forward yourself, or ex-box forward, how do you feel that out of our 3 top try scorers, one's a prop forward, in Luke Campbell, and the other one's a second row in Ross DeVorter? Is that intentional? I mean, Luke had a terrific charge against the Dewsbury line, not from very far out, but I wasn't expecting it, so he scored.
Well, that's easy because we just play 5 drives in the kick rugby league, so if our front rowers don't score tries, I'll be disappointed.
What about Ben Heaton? Ben Heaton has struggled to get in the team, and we obviously use one of our connections with Batley. Has Ben gone with an agenda to try and get back in the team, or is it now a case of we're getting too late towards the end of the season and you just need game time?
No, Ben needed game time, and he's way above the level of our under-20s, so he's got no joy playing in that. And he's playing at Batley, with a well-coached club with John there, and he needs to play to get his way back at this team. He's a little bit behind Cowling and Tyler at the moment, and it was up to Ben to force his hand, and we're monitoring every game he plays in. So it's up to him. Unfortunately, I think he broke his hand last week at Batley, so we'll see how that one reads out.
A bit of a side question for you. We talked about this again earlier in Fax TV. No TV games. We're coming up to the business end of the season where we've got a lot of intense games, which the fixture lists have happened to give us. Are the lack of Thursday games working in our favour? Do you think they're beneficial, or would you say the Thursday games with a 10 days rest was actually quite nice as well?
It's nice to have a weekend off now and again, and this year we've not had that, but no, I think Sunday's fine. That's when Rugby League has always been played, Sunday afternoons, and I think that's when it should stick.
Will the Challenge Cup weekend be a little nice break, or will that be a distraction really with 2 more games to play after it? Or the league season, obviously.
It'll be good because obviously we've got a couple of tough weeks now, and then we'll have a week off before we play Doncaster away, so it'll be good. It gives me the chance to go to London to watch Leeds at Watford.
Good old football there. I don't like football. Nevertheless, I digress. North Wales Crusaders. They came here early this season. Few ex-players had a point to prove. Lessons learnt?
Different game, different conditions. But a different team to when we played then. No, but that was probably the lowest point of the season. You know, we were poor on that occasion. We didn't play well. We didn't get the rub of the green. Everything went against us. We couldn't hold the ball. Couldn't get to a kick. And North Wales deserved to win on the day. But no, certainly a tough one to take. Was that?
In this case now, tackling professionalism and making sure that the guys are fully focused on this Sunday only, nothing else, and getting the result.
Well, we try and prepare like that every week. We always prepare a team to win a game. Sometimes it doesn't happen because the other teams are preparing as well. And sometimes, you know, you have to lose a game to learn about yourself and to go forward, and that's what we have done. As we've seen, you know, the table's ever so close this season, and you know nobody's safe from relegation. Nobody's guaranteed, well, apart from Lee winning the top spot. It's just been a tough. The standard of the competition has improved. Halifax no longer, or we've certainly not had the spending power this season of other clubs around us, so I think we're doing really well as a group of players and some coaches to get the results we're getting.
The other week, Simon interviewed Martin Gonzalez talking about the youth system and our academy side. Moving forward and looking at next year, are you hoping to bleed more of them through then, seeing as we have this budget restraint?
It's difficult. The standard of the under-20s is poor, and that's why we've got our better under-20s playing elsewhere.
Is that because of the league structure, not particularly our team?
The competition is poor. It's not very good. It's not a good test. We watched, if you came to the game earlier at the weekend and saw the North East Academy, we watched that game in depth, and there's no way anybody from that team could jump straight to first team level. It was just a million miles away. So the whole structure needs to be looked at. Whether we advance with it, that's another question.
Do we know if it's going to be changing at all for next year? Or again, we're going to be in the dark till probably the last minute?
We don't know.
Karl, North Wales Crusaders, best of luck.
Thank you.
Keep the momentum going, and we'll see you next week.
We'll do our best.